about it when you get in.
Hello.
Okay. Coaching lesson starting now. Yo, what's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Ready for some coaching action?
Oh yes.
All right. So, what kind of coaching lesson are you kind of looking forward to today? Are you doing like a replay analysis type thing, or you want to do live games?
Mix of both. ZVZ has been giving me a lot of trouble actually. I don't like Baneling because I'm not very good at it. So I normally open up Roach, but I only know one good Roach build, and it's very easily countered if they scout it, and I'm kind of very behind when I do it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we focus on roaches. Let's do it, man. You don't actually have to use Baneling. Banelings do definitely. I feel like they give you more of a safety net, but you can get by without using them for sure. And I would say the best way you could probably make that work for you, if you want to just focus on roaches mainly, would be to mix in, like, if the map is like a really good map for a gasless type build, you could just do it on that kind of a map. But not every map suits that. And if it's a map that doesn't suit it, you could just have two builds, where one is kind of an all-in Roach-Ling, where you can, either win the game right away, or you can severely screw them over and transition out of it if you want to. But it's very aggressive. And the other one would be something like just more of a passive, like you can make a little bit of Lings here and there in the beginning for safety, and go into Roaches really fast. Something like that, like a macro Roach build.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I normally go basically a all-in with Roach-Ling and either win or lose from it. I don't really got nothing else behind that.
It's all good. I guess just to help me get a feel for seeing how you play. Just load up a replay, just one replay, I guess, and we'll check it out. And then after that, we can actually, if you want to, we can do. I can show you a couple builds that I think are pretty good for your, situation, what you want to be doing, and then I can have you try to execute them live against someone from the stream or something, or someone maybe.
Okay.
Show me like one of your roach sticks. I can practice with them. All right, sounds good, Rumble. Thank you. We'll do a replay first.
Oops.
But I appreciate it, man. Thank you for offering.
Oh.
We might use you. All right. Pass me the host, and we'll get this thing going.
There you go.
All right. So.
Oh wait a minute. This is ZVP.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know why I labeled it wrong.
It's all good.
Oh no, never mind.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's random. There's a chance.
Okay,
Let's
there we
see,
go.
Okay. All right. So
well, I normally. Oops. I normally open up 17 hatch and then 17 gas, 16 pool, and all three matchups. I just feel more confident with it, and I go hold off early Ling attacks with it. And then I normally just go a very big all-in from it. I normally don't grab a third hatch because I don't know. I guess I don't know when I should stop attacking, knowing I'm going to lose and things of that, like here.
all right.
This one. So.
So I feel like it might be a little weird to analyze it and figure it out, but the windows of when you can or cannot attack are always just based off map control, and you can always tell who's going to have map control just by the fact that as soon as you and your opponent have your armies clash one time, one person is either going to win or going to lose the fight usually, unless you both just see each other and run away. As soon as a fight happens, you can kind of gauge how it's going to go for you. And one of the best ways you can also, actually, I guess I'm gonna start over. I feel like this is an easier way to explain it. The most important thing in ZVZ is just to look at the third base, honestly. in today's style of ZVZ with like Legacy of the Void, because you can't turtle forever because you run out of money so fast. So everyone needs to expand. That's always going to happen. So especially since Zerg is so Roach like heavy, it's so like low tech oriented for a matchup. Everyone's gonna expand, and if your opponent does not take a third, and you can tell with your Overlord if you just leave an Overlord at the third, if they do not take a third, you should probably be the one to be defensive always. Okay. Unless you're doing an all-in, and then that's kind of then you're all-in. It means obviously you attack. But if they do not take a third, you're usually going to be defensive until they throw an army away, and then you counterattack. That is one of the best ways to do it. But if they take a third, and you see, oh look, they're like making some drones and whatever, it's then up to you to match that or attack it.
Okay. But yeah, this is basically kind of my all-in. I grab a 32 Roach-Ling and build 3 Obies, and then wait for a Roach-Ling to pop up. I make 9 Overlords, and then I just flood Lings in behind. I mean, not 9 Roaches, and then I flood Lings in behind it, and try to win the game.
Yeah. This is actually really pretty much what a build I was going to recommend you do. The one thing about this build, though, is I'm going to pause it really fast. One of the best things you can do with this build is, if you really think about it like this, when you make your roaches, you just made 8 roaches. Most likely, you're not going to keep making roaches after this point, because if you do, the fight on the other side of the map is most likely already going to have been decided before the new roaches you make after these 8. Like let's just say you make a roach 45 seconds from now, and your 8 roaches are already there at his base fighting, and you're either winning or you're losing the fight. Either way, there is no way a new roach that's like coming out almost a minute later is going to get across the map in time to make a difference in the fight if you've won or if you've lost it. Like it's already, like it's going to be decided by your first push straight up. The better thing to do, honestly, in my opinion, would be what you do is you mine 200 gas, which is 25 gas per roach, so that's 8 roaches, just like what you've made right now. But as soon as you hit 200, stop mining gas entirely, and just put those 3 drones on minerals instead. And what that'll allow for you to do is you can just non-stop flood Lings, because Lings are much faster than roaches, especially with Speedling, the metabolic boost. So they actually can spawn and get across the map quickly and make a difference in the fight before it's decided one way or the other. They can either flood more of his units faster to overpower it and win, or they can reinforce your roaches if you're starting to lose to help, turn the tide of the fight, more or less. Because the mobility is huge in that factor, if you're sending reinforcements after the fight's already started. And if you also, the other thing too is Lings are cheaper than roaches, and also if you have more minerals coming in because you stopped mining gas, your minerals are going to start ramping up a little bit. You can actually take a 3rd base while you're being aggressive, and take a 3rd queen, and then start flooding 3 hatcheries of inject at a time instead of 2. If it keeps going on for a while. So it makes your flood, your all-in more powerful with Lings. The only time I would ever say start mining gas again is if your opponent defends and is not dead, and the game is going to continue, and then now you don't want to just make nothing but Lings all day. You can then start remining gas again and start making new roaches or whatever after that point. But just for the sake of the all-in, the best thing to do is just 8 roaches. Try to keep them alive as long as possible by using your Lings as the meat shield, and just have the roaches pick apart whatever they can. And if you're losing the fight, back up to more Lings. If you're winning the fight, pressure more and get the roaches into really damaging spots on your opponent.
Okay. So, I guess when attacking into this, as you can see, he built a full wall. Where should I be attacking? Because I target down the Roach-Ling, as you'll see in this fight, and to open up the wall more, and so I could get actually into his base.
Yeah.
But, and I don't think that's what lost me the game, but I think it had partly to do with it.
Yeah, I'll pause it really fast, because what I'm gonna look for here is I'm gonna look for how you micro this fight, and the best way to honestly micro this fight is you have to gauge what he has blocking the wall. So if this dude, if he has nothing but Zerglings, nothing but melee units, there is nothing stopping you from shoving your way into his base and killing the Lings and then, overpowering whatever's behind it, like this building spines or whatever, something like that. But if he does have, like, let's just say, instead of spines, he already had like 8 roaches back here, or like 6 roaches back here, and the roach horn was a little earlier than it is currently, I would never say just run right through the choke point, because if he's got range units on this side of the choke point, you're giving him a massive concave. So you would obviously die. So if you sit on the outside right now, seeing what's here in a second, if you sit on the outside and just attack the roach horn and allow the spines to finish, you're giving him a better chance to hold, because he could actually build roaches after it's finished until it dies, and then it buys some time for the spines to finish, and now it's going to become roach spine versus ling roach, and he could remake a new roach horn somewhere else while making zerglings or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how you do it, but with what he has right now, I would definitely say shove in and kill everything as quick as possible. Okay, that was my bad. I didn't hold the hockey. Okay, so I'll say it again really fast.
Okay.
The biggest thing that you should be doing right now is actually shoving into his base, killing the queens and killing the lings, and then killing the spines, and leaving the roach horn. You can kill the roach horn later, but this is why I'm telling you to do this. Okay. If your opponent doesn't have anything that's ranged already there, really, like queens, he only has 2 queens, which is pretty fucking minor, you know?
Right.
If you shove into if you kill a queen, you shove forward, kill the second queen. There's really nothing he can do about it. His lings are going to be running around in circles behind the queens, and they're not really going to be able to help until the queens are already dead. And then finally, the lings are going to start poking your whatever units you have in the front, like 2 at a time. But your roaches are range units, so all your roaches are hitting the whole time. Whereas his lings are just waiting in line to die, more or less. And you're going to shove in quickly into his base. Like, it would take you about the same amount of time to kill, like, to do the damage of, like, half the roach horn's health to kill the queens and kill the lings. So at this point, your lings and roaches would already be in his base, killing the spines before they even finish. And then as soon as you do that, you could actually jump on his hatchery. And even if he has a roach horn done, and you're like, oh shit, he might make roaches now. If his eggs are, like, you know where the eggs are, because that's just how Zerg works. Every unit spawns off the hatchery. If you're surrounding the hatchery and the lings just immediately jump on the roaches that are being isolated immediately, they'll just die, and then you're going to overpower his army as it goes, and the game's over. You just won.
Okay.
The only time I would ever tell you to kill the roach horn like you just did is if your opponent made a roach horn earlier than he did, and instead of having 2 spines and like 8 speedlings or so behind the wall, let's say instead of 8 lings, it was 8 roaches and a couple queens, and a little choke point like that. Then I would say, yeah, it's probably a good idea for you to kill the roach horn, and then, create a bigger hole for you to then go in. Because if you go into a really tiny choke point, you're giving him a massive concave. Concaves only apply, though, with range versus range. It does not apply with melee.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen right now, I feel like, is you're allowing him to buy time for the spines to finish. And he's also made roaches. Even though you've killed the roach horn, he's made roaches in the time it took you to kill the roach horn of his roach horn. And these spine crawlers do insane amounts of damage to roaches. They do 35 per shot, and they hit relatively fast. It's the only reason why he held this, is because those spines are finishing. Like, oh my god, I'm talking again, but I'm not holding on the hookey. I apologize, dude. Jesus. So yeah, the only reason why you lost that fight is because the spine's finished. Spine crawlers do a ridiculous amount of DPS. That spine on the bottom that you did eventually kill, it attacked you about, I would say, about 6 times before it died. And if you think about it in terms of how much damage that's going to do, it does 35 damage per hit, and if it hits 6 times, what is that? It's 210 damage, I think. Yeah. And that's Roach only has 145 health, so that did enough damage to kill like 1 and like a third of, or like almost half of a second Roach. Whereas, and I don't. It basically the whole point of what I was saying earlier too. It's just it is the main thing. We don't have to go into all super detail. It's just if your opponent had a Roach army back there and something that would develop a concave for him, it's a bad idea to just push to the choke point, especially if you have equal numbers, because he's going to have just more raw efficiency than you will. But if he has nothing but melee units, a choke point actually favors you than him, instead of him, because it'll allow all your roaches to hit, whereas only like 1/5 of his army can attack at a time because it's melee units attacking you with a little choke point. Overpowering. Oh yeah, overpowering the spines was just super important there.
Yeah.
And then from here too, the other thing we talked about earlier, where we're talking about like taking a third base. This would make the game a lot nicer for you too if you went for the third base route, because you could have. Right now, you would already have a third done. You'd already have a third queen at it, and you could turn this game into whatever you wanted. Whether it be, all right, now I'm just gonna make a ton of units off 3 base and overpower you with just superior production, or I'm gonna drone up now and put you in a situation where you feel like you have to attack me because I'm having a superior economy. And whatever, something like that. But if you like if you look at the economy too, the way it looks right now, you were the one who did the all-in, and you have. To be honest, this game is actually really close because even though you all-in'd him just a second ago, you guys are actually matched in drones. And you have the third going down right now instead of him. His choice was 2 spines. So you actually are in the lead right now in this game.
Okay. And then I just think when I go into a macro, like in this, I over macro and I don't realize when this army's moving out because I guess I don't scout like enough. Because when I do scout, it's a bit too late, and he's already moving out. And
yeah. Best thing you can do is make it a habit of either putting an Overlord or a Zergling at his third base. Because if I were you right now, and I'm going, okay, my opponent still hasn't taken a third base, and the all-in's been over for like 3 minutes now, I would immediately be going, he's massing roaches. He's going to he's either going to go like Muta or something weird with tech. The spines actually make it seem like Muta a little bit. But if I would see, oh look, he's got a bunch of roaches behind the wall too, I would less likely think it's Muta. But the longer he takes to take a third base, the more likely that he's just massing units to attack you with. Because it won't take him very long to hit maximum saturation on 2 base anyways.
And I do see him eventually, moving out, but I get supply block. And that's dead at that point because I saw his army accumulate over here and I made the roaches and then I was getting supply blocked at the same time, so yeah.
I think the mistake you made this game too, when it came to the macro phase of it, was I feel like the Spire it's like the Spire's nice, the Spire's cool. But I would never recommend going for a Spire like this. If you're like, because what you're doing is you're going for Evo Chamber, you're getting +1, and then you're getting +2 behind it. And the logic behind this is dictating that you want to go for roaches. And if you look at your economy as well, you're focusing on right now you have a decent economy. It could be a little bit better saturated, but your economy is mainly focused on minerals, I would say. You have mostly 3 saturated mineral lines, and you're missing 2 gases already right now. Your gas in your natural is not saturated, and one of your gases in your third is not even built. So I feel like the build is becoming 2 things at once, because your resources are dictating. If you have 3 mineral lines and only 4 gas, and you're also getting roach weapon upgrades, it dictates that you're going to have more minerals than gas. And you're going to use that by going for a 3-to-1 split for roaches, because roaches are 75-25 for gas mineral. So it makes sense. It works. But then throwing down a Spire in there, if you actually built mutas, you would have to actually go for Zergling muta instead of roach muta, even though you've been upgrading the roaches this whole time, because you don't have enough gas to sustain muta and roach together because you're already undersaturating your gas as it is.
Okay.
So I feel like the Spire is a good choice later. Like, once you have 3 fully saturated mineral lines, Open up with something like really heavy amounts of roaches. And then once you do something like go, oh, okay, my main is starting to mine out, I'm going to take a 4th base, and I'm going to throw down a Spire. Because at this point, my supply is going to be a lot higher. I'm not going to really need to just like grind out roaches nonstop. It's going to be like, maybe I'm 180, 190 supply, I'm near max, my bank is going to start going up, and then I could do something like, after a battle where I throw maybe like, you know, a little bit of my army away, and like by trading with his army, I can remake into Muta, and if he's the kind of guy who goes for like a Roach Ravager all in or mass roaches, now he's got to deal with Mutas. It's just you did it too early is all, and your economy doesn't support it.
Okay.
Because like if you just had more roaches in this fight, you would easily hold.
Yeah. Yeah, I got supply block right before this fight too, so and
Yeah.
then that was game, basically.
Yeah. All right. GG.
Yeah, I just stayed in it trying to.
I would say the biggest thing you should do, the biggest thing you should focus on is there's like 3 stages of ZVZ that you should just like really make like focus on for yourself. And one is the opening stage of, you know, the game getting situated in the first place, whether it's an all-in, like really fast all-in with Ling Bane, or whether it's like, you know, someone wants to open macro, whatever. Just the first stage of the game that everyone in ZVZ is always like, man, ZVZ is such a coin flip, whatever. Like that's why everyone hits ZVZ, because it's either all in or not, basically. Like, and it's super aggressive if it is all in. With this stage, doing a roach opening is totally fine, and all you got to do, if you're someone who doesn't want to make banelings, is the general rule is if your opponent's really aggressive, you need to overmake zerglings in the beginning, or else you're gonna die. The only way you're gonna get around that is if it's a map that supports a gasless roach build, and the only maps that support builds like that are maps that have one entrance to your base with a tight choke point, to where you don't have to invest like 5 buildings to block it. You only instead have to invest 2 or 3 max, and then you can put a queen in the center of it, and it like blocks the whole entrance to your entire base. Maps that have that support it. Maps that don't have that, that's bad to do a gasless build on maps like that. That you know, don't support that. So you pick your build in the beginning. You like roaches, obviously. So every game, if you do this, it's totally fine. You could either go for a 17 hatch, like 18 gas, 17 pool, whatever, and then you could go into a roach all in like you just did, and go into it from there. Whatever you want to do, do it all in, and then transition if they don't die, or just kill them straight up. That's fine. Or you could do something like where you go for, you get Zergling speed, and instead of just continuing to mine gas fully, if you're going to do the macro version of this, what I would recommend you do is you pull 2 drones off gas as soon as you get Zergling speed. So you just leave 1 on the gas. And then you take a 3rd base relatively quickly. And the way your drones would look is you have 16 on the main mineral line, and you'd have maybe 8 on the natural, like half saturated natural. And what you're going to do is, you're gonna, as soon as you get like 8 on the natural, you make about a good like 15 supply of Zerglings, or like 20 supply of Zerglings. And the reason why you're gonna do this is because you need map control. Because if you don't make Zerglings, either your 3rd is gonna die for sure, or you're gonna just die straight up yourself. Roaches are really bad in small amounts of number anyways. Early on in the game, Lings are way more efficient. Because every single time what a Zerg is going to do if they go Ling Bane, if you only have a few roaches, is they're going to zone out your Zerglings with their Banelings, and they're just going to surround and kill your roaches. Roaches are better the more you have in ZVZ. And also, roaches have a checkpoint where as soon as they get speed and +1, they make Lings pretty shitty. Like, but before that, Lings are pretty scary against them. So you gotta be careful about that. So, it's basically what you would aim for is you take a 3rd, and you, off the economy we just talked about, 8 natural, 16 main, and then you make a lot of Lings, probably like 20 supply, something like that. And then as soon as you feel like you have map control with these 20 supply of Lings, you would then transition to drones. But if you feel like your opponent is trading army with you over and over and over, and you're not actually winning the fight, like you're killing his army, he's killing yours, and now you don't know what to do, you have to make Lings again. because map control in ZVZ is insanely important. If you're not trying to take map control, you're opening yourself up to a risk of just dying. If you ever like, go ahead. Sorry, yeah, I'm talking a lot.
Oh no, that's fine. Okay, I didn't think of, like, I realized roaches. So roaches are like straight up, because I've died to bling golems and things like that with my roaches. How, like, I guess if I'm going to go macro into roaches, I shouldn't just make roaches until later, or
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like, the best thing you can do is, when I say make 20 supply of lings, the whole reason why you're gonna do that is your main target is gonna be, do not let my opponent take a third base. That's it. That is your main goal. If you can accomplish that goal, and now you have a third and he does not, even though you've made 20 supply, or about 20 supply of lings, these lings are going to pressure him into being defensive anyways, and you can remake that larva easily and surpass his larva if he's made nothing but drones. If he's made nothing but drones, to be honest, there's going to be nothing contesting you, and you can just test the waters when you go to his actual base and kill him straight up if he's got nothing. But if you overmake lings in the beginning and he gets into a situation, this happens a lot in ZVZ. If your opponent's in a situation where he is now reacting to what you're doing and he's starting to make lings as his third base dies, he's going to be in a situation where you have a third, he doesn't, and he also made lings just like you did, but his third's dead because he made it a little too late. It happens all the time. Like, that's why, and that means you have map control now. So from there, you don't have to go just, okay, fully saturate 3 bases. Yeah, I'm not saying do that. That's a little crazy. That's fucking crazy. But you can squeeze out maybe a little bit, maybe like squeeze in 6 drones. Put your natural mineral line to, instead of 8, now it has 14. So you're almost fully saturated on 2 bases, and you just test the waters. You always have to scout around a little bit and just see, is my opponent going to start making drones, or is my opponent going to all in me? Like, are they stockpiling units? The best way you can do that is just literally sacrifice the ling every time. Just run a ling into his base, see what he's doing, and if you see that he's what's it called? Making drones, you're cool, you're great. He's droning. You can drone or do whatever you want. If he's making units, you got to prepare as well. Maybe try to squeeze out a little bit more drones before he does it. Like, you could, if you realize, oh, my opponent's all in me, but right now he's only at 25 drones and I'm at 33. Now I'm gonna start making my roaches. I'm down in roach supply compared to him right now, but by the time he gets across the map, I'll have enough to match it and enough lings as well to like push him back or kill his army. Because you always have an advantage as the defender, because obviously your opponent has to run across the map. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should just get into another game. There's a lot of talking, and I don't want to confuse you with like random different styles of games and stuff. I got a guy who is willing to play you in stream right now.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna make a game and I'll invite you to it.
Alright.
But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions as well. At any point in time if you have a question. I'll do this map. And then, are you in the VFam group chat or the Vibrator group chat? Or, to be honest, you could actually even just message me from the GM ladder. I just need a way to invite you to the game. Rommel, get in here! Sick. You're on top of things. Alright, and then I'm gonna get Rommel on here.
Alright. And I want to go as random, but... So Overlord placement, I know I've been having problems with that too. Where do you like placing your first couple Overlords? Because I know those are probably the most important ones.
So the first Overlord always should be scouting the natural every time. You need to like run right into his natural and be like, did you expand or did you not? Because that first Overlord is immediately going to tell you if you're getting all in or not from like a 12 pool, or if because some people like to actually hide the lings and shit like that. So if you scout the natural, it'll always tell you if there's creep there that matches your creep. If you went 17 hatch, you know he's expanding and he's not doing some weird super cheesy thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you scout it, you can back up and just watch the front of his base, and it will show you then if he floods units out of his base at any point in time. Second Overlord should always go to his third base, always. So you always have a scout there that can't die early because lings and roaches can't kill it. That'll just sit there and tell you when he takes the third, basically. If he does go for his like natural third base, not a weird one. And then the rest of the Overlords, honestly, I feel like would just be best put either around blind spots in your base, like at the front of your base, and see if he's like flooding you there, making Banelings out front of your base. A blind spot on like where a Drop Lord would usually go in your main, on like the side of a cliff or something, and then just like aligned through the middle of the map, wherever you feel like is a nice choke point where he's most likely gonna go from point A to point B to your base. Just yeah, stuff like that. But the first two Overlords are really crucial. It's scout the natural and then back up to the, scout the edge of his creep, see if he expanded. If he didn't, see if he's expanding at all. Because you never want to fly fully on top of the hatchery if he did already expand, because there's a very high chance your Overlord's just going to die to a queen. But if you don't see creep when you get to his natural, you can scout further and further and further. And then you can tell, sometimes you'll be like, oh, okay, you don't have a natural at all. And now there's lings, speedlings flooding down your ramp, and they're coming to my base. And you can react by going, more queens, spines, more lings, whatever you need,
Okay. Alright.
Alright, you guys ready?
I am.
Alright. Alright, so, what build would you prefer to do this game? I'll talk you through it. Would you prefer to macro or all in?
Let's try macro.
Okay.
I haven't really done much macro, so we'll see.
Alright, so again, feel free to ask me any questions at any point in time if you have a question about something, and I'm gonna talk a lot, and if you feel like you're falling behind, don't worry about it, it's all good. I talk fast. About shit like this. Alright, so again, your Overlord, yeah. To his natural, and then what you can do, like a habit you can create for yourself too, just in case you get distracted and sometimes you feel like you might lose an Overlord because, I do this for myself because I stream a lot and I lose Overlords often if I don't do this. But you can actually move your Overlord to like the edge of his ramp to where your Overlord would see creep and then shift click it back.
Okay.
So your Overlord will at least scout it and then shift click back just in case you weren't paying attention the second it got there. So you could still save the Overlord so it doesn't just run into a queen and die. And the build I would say to do, the second nice standard build would be just go for a 17 hatch, and then join up to 18, and then just go gas pull when you can afford it.
All right.
All right, and then just throw down a gas earlier than the pool. There you go, perfect. And then just save for a pool. You're good to go. And now, what I want you to do is I want you to mine 200 gas, and then stop mining gas with 2 out of the 3 drones. I also want you to drone up to 19 supply, and then make an Overlord. And then stop making drones once you're at 19 supply, just for a second.
Okay.
So now make an Overlord, and then I want you to save 3 larvae, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna make 6 Zerglings.
Okay.
This is gonna already give you map control in the beginning of the game, and it's gonna deny your opponent's third if they're way too greedy. It's like testing your opponent basically. And then while you're not doing anything too, this helps a lot actually. Just take a look at your mineral line and just make sure there's no stacks with 3 and just put a stack on 2. Perfect. It does make a big difference. And then 6 lings and 2 queens. Now grab 2 drones off the gas and put them on your natural, and then start Zergling speed. And behind these 6 lings, start droning again. And watch your first Overlord. It's not creep. You know he's expanded, so you can back up for free, or you're not gonna die. And now you see him moving out 6 lings. So now what I want you to do is I want you to guard your third base. I want you to take a third right now and guard it with your 6 lings. I would say go attack his third if nothing comes out of his base, but if he sends lings at you before you send lings at him, just protect your third.
Should I be droning or?
Yeah, drone. You drone right now. Drone up to at least half saturation on your mirror line. And try not to spy block, just watch your lings too. Alright, looks like you're losing the fight, so you need to make a couple more lings. Make like 4 more. And then just try to annoy him and get him off the hatchery, but don't commit to a fight, I guess, while you're waiting. And just keep making lings if you, or sorry, keep making drones if you can. And now, once you hit, oh, you're at 7 out of, I would say make like 3 more drones. And then start a Roach-Ling. And now go mass ling, just make mass ling now. Also, start another queen at your natural. The Roach-Ling and the third queen at your natural is really good together because you can send a queen now to your third base as it finishes. So that as soon as that queen injects your natural, send it to your third. And you see Banelings. So now this is when it kind of comes down to you need to micro. This is the weakness of going Roach. Straight up. You need to make lings and micro. And as soon as your Roach-Ling's done, you can start making Roaches. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. This is what's happening right now. Is your opponent right now is punishing the build that you're doing in no way. This is the only way this build really gets punished. It's early Banelings. That's always been the weakness of early Roaches. So
okay.
It requires micro to like get around it with lings. But if you can get past this phase, you're like it's like a. You'll have a stronger mid game if you can get past this phase with a good economy and not losing a lot of your drones and stuff. No billions tonight, Dirty Player. It's just pure StarCraft tonight. Oh. Yeah, the flood, man. The flood is real.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, right now,
yeah.
it's rough, very rough spot for you. Just because this is kind of what ZVZ is. It's if you lose the third, you're probably screwed. But vice versa, if you kill your opponent's third, you're probably in a great spot. I think.
So I guess.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
What should I be doing in this situation? Because I do find myself sometimes in this situation.
In this situation, you're probably dead. Honestly.
Okay.
Your opponent right now has double your drone count and a third over you, and he's going Roaches now. And there's no way even if your opponent just makes Roaches now, there's no way you're gonna have enough to match it.
Okay. So this is basically a game.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so what I'm thinking about doing, I'll make another one, and I will play in your place just this time, and more or less to like give you a replay of what I'm talking about, so you can like have a reference for the build.
Okay.
And then
yeah.
feel free again to just ask me questions throughout the game. I don't mind
Alright.
talking about stuff. What map did we just play on?
Backwater.
Alright.
Blackpink, my bad. I can't even think of map names.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, was it back? I was thinking that too. I was like, what map was it? Alright, I'll invite you guys again. Yo, Shinji, thank you for offering, man. I appreciate it. for now, I'm gonna use Rommel at the moment. But I thank you for offering though. I do appreciate it. And Sea Whiskey, thank you for the sub gifted to Yum. Yum. Nope, wait, nope. There we go. Yunum, welcome. Welcome to the VFam, bro. You have a silver sub though. I don't know. Yunum, I love you, man. All right, let's do this. All right, so the general idea or the rule of this build is you want to go for about like it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be, you know, somewhat in this range. You want to go for 16 on the main, 1 on the gas after speed, and then about 8 to 10 on the natural, and then that's it. And then you have to make lings, because what just happened right there, the reason why that happened is because the lings came out just a little bit later than they should have, so your opponent got positioning on you to make banelings right in your face.
Okay.
And then you felt super pressured because you're like, oh god, there's like banelings and then lings zoning me out at my third, and now he's pushing into my natural. It makes the game a lot harder. You have to be the one with map control doing this, or else you're just gonna get killed. So the only real offset is heavy amounts of lings early to make this rush to roach build work. So I'm joining up to 19 again, and then we'll be good to go. I also like to leave the Overlord at my natural, the second one at my natural, just for a little bit to see if he's running lings around the map with the 12 pull. And then I send it out a little later towards his third, like maybe 20 seconds later. And I've made 6 lings, now I'm going back to droning, looking at his natural to see if there's creep there. There is already, so I know he's expanded first before I pull.
Okay.
And now, as soon as my lings move on the map, I don't see his lings yet. My lings are faster than his, so I'm going to take my third, and I'm going to try and catch his lings mid-map. He's actually the one turning around, so now I'm the one, the aggressor now, basically.
Okay.
And my mineral line right now has 6. I just made 3 more, and now, as soon as I can afford it, I'm going to make a roach for him and just non-stop lings. There's his third.
Swarm forces under attack.
He's sending his queen down here too, so I don't want to stay. Because the queen will just overpower. And I know he has third, so I don't need to send my Overlord in there either. Now we make our roach for him. And more lings. And we're also making a queen.
Evolution complete. Swarm forces under attack.
Next inject, I send my queen to my third, so it can be there right as it finishes. And right now I have about like 26 lings, or 28 lings. So I'm going to pressure his third again. There's some banelings here. This comes down to micro. Oh, he's letting me into his main, so this is like, you know, he's got to figure out what you want to do with damage.
Alright.
Successful. Swarm
And just keep making lings. And now I'm gonna start making roaches.
Swarm forces under attack. Swarm forces under attack.
And now that I've started making roaches, I'm gonna put 2 drones back on the gas in my main.
Okay.
So it's all about map control. So it's like it's just
Yeah.
you have to get comfortable with it, but that's all it is. And the roaches are actually gonna stay defensive. I'm not even gonna attack. And he's actually setting up to attack me, so I gotta prepare for that.
Swarm forces under attack.
I don't see anything flooding up his base though, so I'm gonna drone. And I'm gonna make him turn around right now by running across the map.
Okay.
And now that I just made a big round of drones, I go 4 gas all at once. And I also take a layer, and oh shit, I'm trying to talk and.
Yeah.
Now I make a layer, and I also go for an evo.
Okay. So what? I guess what would you do unless because like you move across the map and he just decides to go.
I have
into
roaches.
your
I have
after-
roaches. My roaches stay at home.
All right.
And now we have good saturation. If you look at the drone count, I am probably ahead. And maybe, I don't know. It depends how greedy he's been too. Maybe he's made a lot too. But I'm fully saturated, so I'm there basically. I'm good to go on my drone count. So now all we do is make roaches.
Okay.
It's the whole goal is to get to full saturation on 4 gas and 3 mineral line as fast as you can. That's it.
All right.
And now we can start roach speed, and that's it. We're going roaches. That's all it is. And now we need to make an overseer as well to see if my opponent's going for like the only thing I would need to see is like is he going for fast metas? Because I haven't seen a single roach out of him yet. Because I've been the defender since I've been droning really hard now. And I also didn't make banelings, and if you don't make banelings, usually you're gonna end up being the defender after a little while. It's too hard to just non-stop make pure ling fight ling bane. He's going roaches. Okay, so it's roach.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about being like, oh, I need a spore or a hydrogen really fast or a spire myself. It's just roach. So now it comes down to can I macro harder than him with just roaches. And when I get to about 150 supply, which is about like right now ish, I'm gonna start 2 extra gases at my 3rd. So I can start going into Ravagers if I want, or something tech further, like anything really. What kind of units do you like, to be honest? Do you like Meta? Would you, if you were in the situation, would you go Meta, you think?
I probably would go Hydra.
Okay, I'll do Hydra then.
Swarm has evolved.
I think the only time I really go mute is if I feel like I'm behind you.
Okay, makes sense. We caught a 4th base with our lings. Our lings are just really scouting now. That's all it is. There's his roaches, so we're actually killing a 4th base while. And these lings are kind of worthless now, anyways. They killed the 4th, but really they're just dead supply at this point.
Swarm forces under attack.
And if you can macro harder than your opponent, what's happening right now is what'll happen, where you'll just have more, and you'll be able to be the aggressor. It's the reason why mine is bigger is because I saturated faster.
Alright.
And now you see my main starting to mine out, which is why I built a 4th. I didn't saturate a 4th, but I can transfer to my 4th now. So now I can do that. And now with the roaches I'm starting to lose, I can start remaking Hydras now.
Okay.
It's also a mistake to rush Hydras, I think. Some people like to do that, but there's a good chance you die to what I'm doing, which is just a big roach timing. If you just rush a Hydra out because you just won't have enough. Because they're so expensive. And yeah, it's just maintaining. Now it's just the game now at this point for me is just don't let my opponent take a 4th base. Switch into Roach Hydra and saturate my 4th, like, you know, with drones that are starting to mine out from my main natural 3rd. It's just basically maintaining map control. And if you want to play it really safe, you can do something like this. Be like, spine, 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 spine at every base. Just in case my opponent were to do something like burrow roaches.
Okay.
And you can resaturate your mineral lines. And there you go. Now I can back up a little bit because my army's not maxed here, so it's kind of a bad fight probably for me to take.
Evolution complete.
And we just back up to our spines even and just take a choke point. Okay, he's going for my 4th, so we'll push him away.
Okay.
All I'm doing right now, though, is buying time until I max out again. Because I have a superior tech army now. I'm not looking to take a fight unless he forces one.
Evolution complete.
Now we have spines helping.
Okay.
Sequences spun. Swarm mutate. Swarm forces under attack.
Might actually be dead. Holy fuck.
Swarm forces under attack. Assaulting drones.
I actually think we're dead. I think I'm dead actually, because he's killing my economy. He's actually broken me.
Swarm forces under attack.
But yeah, it's just that situation for, you know, what I was in. You can really do whatever, you know, you're interested in. You're not like dictated to have to do one thing or the other. It's not like you have to go Hydra or you have to go Meta or you have to go Ravager with roaches. You can do whatever you like. It's whatever composition you feel you want to do. I mean, there are obviously stronger compositions than others, but I don't know. It's any of them can work basically, because if you go, it just depends how you use them. If you like to be the guy who goes Roach Hydra, the best thing you can do for yourself would be you never take a fight in a super confined choke point, because the way Roach Hydra performs the best is when you have the biggest possible concave. And also, if you're fighting against something like Roach Ravager and you have Roach Hydra, the bigger clumped your army is, the more likely that his corrosive biles are going to make more. They're going to be more in effect, basically, because it's going to have to make you move more, or you're going to eat more damage because your units are balled up harder, because it's AoE splash. But yeah, I don't know. It's also the good thing about the Hydra style too is if you throw a Lurker Din down behind it, it'll probably do like wonders for you. It'll be amazing. You could just make like 5 Lurker, 6 Lurker, and just lull your way to victory, more or less.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've never really played around with macro roach plays, and I've actually, in any of my matchups, I've never really played around with macro play. I'm a very aggressive player at the beginning, um, and it's one of those like aggressive timings where I have to do damage. If I don't do damage, I play from behind somewhat, because the ZVZ replay I actually showed you, I played like I was from behind. I didn't realize I was actually ahead at that point, kind of. So I guess I've also learned game sense a little bit more, which will come.
Yeah, it just comes with time.
Yeah.
It's the biggest rule you just have to really ingrain in your mind with ZVZ is it's 100% about map control. It's if you have like it's all these rules apply up to the point of full saturation on 3 bases. As soon as you get 3 base saturation, all the rules no longer apply. It's just you do whatever the fuck you want, pretty much. Whatever you think is going to win you the game at that point, you just go for it. But up to, like for instance, what I mean is, let's just say hypothetically, okay? Let's say your opponent and yourself have maxed out, and you feel like your opponent has map control, and so does he. And he runs out across the map, but he runs into 10 lurkers, and his whole army dies in 3 seconds. Like, there's so much random shit that can happen that you can set up and do in-game, so these rules don't apply anymore. But early game, you can pretty much see everything that's going to happen, because you can scout it very easily. Which is like you can scout a Ling in their main and their natural. You can run into their base and you can see not only what tech they're building, but you can also see if they're making units like balled up or if they're gonna like drone really hard. And then vice versa. Let's just say he walls off and you can't see. You can't actually see the inside of his base because you're like, oh look, he walled off with 2 evos and a Roach-Ling and now he's got a queen in the front. That does tell you something in itself, though. It tells you that he's going for most likely a gasless build that's going to go into a roach timing.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but okay. So.
Because if you think about it, like, if he's going to go for a big wall in his front of his base really fast, and he's also mining gas really early, that is going to make his economy so shitty because he's investing 7 drones into gas and a wall right away. And you think about how many drones you have in the early on in the game. If he's making those at 20 drones, it means now he's only got 13. There's no way he's doing that. So it's most likely like he took a really late gas if he makes a wall like that really early.
Okay. So, trying to. I know that Roach-Ling, you said that was basically the one you were going to show me. The 32 Roach-Ling into roaches.
We can do that if you like. You want to do that one really fast?
Sure.
But for that last game too, I would still recommend using that for just like a slight reference. I'm not gonna say I played that last game perfect, but the opener ideally is what you kind of want to go for. What you want to do is you want to go for the 17, 18, 17, 2 drones off gas, go to your natural, quickly take your third with Lings that pressure around the map, and you have to flood a little bit of Lings for a little while to get past that mid-game phase of, or the early game phase of your opponent having Banelings and you not. You have to circumvent it in a certain way. And the way that I set up my economy that last game with drones, with Lings going around the map or whatever, and having a little bit of roaches covering my drones when I was going really heavy on saturation, that was ideally how you want to do it. Because it all came down to map control, and I still have a safety net of roaches in case he goes for like a counter roll-in.
Okay.
And then from there, you could do whatever you want. You could go for quick lurker, you could go for Muta, Hydra, anything that floats your boat, man. You can do whatever you want from there. But that replay was still, I think, good for the early game.
Yeah, I saved it and made sure I named it too.
ZVP. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've renamed replays like that all the time.
Yeah, so do I, dude. It's all good. It happens all the time. Well, I'm like saving a replay, and they're like, dude, it wasn't even a ZVT. You just played ZVZ. Oh, shit. My bad.
Like, I know why I did that replay, so I'm just like typing it down. I'm just like, okay, I did that. And then I'm like showing someone, and I'm just like, that's not the replay I wanted to show you, but okay, we'll go with it. But,
yeah. Alright, I'm gonna invite you to the game.
Okay.
Oh, I can invite you to the game.
Can't?
Yeah, well, it says you're in a game still, actually, that's why.
That's weird. I'm in the main menu.
Yo, Rommel, thank you for playing, man.
Yeah, I'll relog real quick. Gotta love Blizzard's interface. Oops.
I think I'm gonna use Shinji for this next one, just because he's a little lower in Diamond, and I feel like it's gonna be more of a fair match. But Rommel, good job, man. You dunked on me, man. You fucking dunked me. I was like, all right, so
is that better, or
this is how you win.
Still saying I'm in the game.
Don't mind that I'm losing. It says you're still in a game right now.
That's weird. I just relogged back in.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to remake my lobby. I don't know. I'm trying to invite you to the group too. I can't even invite you to a group right now.
That's weird.
Never mind. It was like a chat bug. I had to message you when it fixed it. Yeah.
Okay.
We're good now. We're good. Rommel, I'm just giving you shit, man. I don't really care. Alright, so I'm going to have you play the other dude, the European Diamond Zerg here, Shinji. And then you can test out the other build.
Okay.
And then as you go in this build, I'll give you tips on like how I think you should micro it. And I'm going to watch from your perspective too.
Okay.
He is ready. Let's do this. Alright, and then yeah, the thing I would recommend for this one too is just once again, it's the you can go 17, 18, 17 again if you want, or that's what I usually do. And then go into like your Roach one around 30 supply, mine 200 gas, and then stop mining gas entirely.
Okay.
And as soon as you stop mining gas entirely, you're going to want to focus on, you know, prioritize your larva into lings as quick as you can. But as soon as you have 300 minerals, or like 250, send a drone towards your third and go take a third. So you can have it really fast.
Okay.
It's just ZVZ coaching? Yeah, that's what he wanted. ZVZ. My nose is itchy, dude. Oh. One day I won't have allergies, and yeah, I won't have to itch my nose every 5 seconds. All right, so we got his pools, gas. Zerg is the hardest race mechanically, and ZVT is very mechanical. Zerg is just, yeah, requires a lot of multitasking. Zerg also has that aspect of you always have to react to your opponent because you can't wall like Terran and Protoscan all the time. So you have to be aware of what the fuck is happening. Protoss and Terran can get away with being a dumbass half the time. and not knowing what's happening, but they just have a wall, so they're fine anyways. It makes the early game a lot simpler for Terran and Protoss. Alright, so go ahead and start Zergling speed. And then I would say drone up to like, you can honestly drone up to like 33 supply.
Okay.
And then once you have 33 supply, you can make a Roach Warren. And then just keep tabs on your gas. As soon as you're at like 180, start watching it and start pulling your drones off. To hit 200 is just at 200 pretty much.
A new queen has emerged. A new queen has emerged.
I like the scouting. You can go check his third, is what I would recommend. Get some overlords going. If he fights you, if it's equal number, you can try to micro. If you have less, just back off. And then keep tabs on your gas. You're gonna take them off soon-ish, maybe in the next like 5 seconds. Start taking them off one by one right now. And
Your
then
forces are taking damage.
pull your link. Or good job, you canceled his third. Now make 8 roaches. And now just flood links. And I would say send 1 drone from your main to your third base, since you have 17 on it. And you can get ready to take a third base now.
Your forces are under attack.
Keep injecting. Make more lings. Send the roaches across, and yep. Oh, he's got banelings at your third. There you go. Perfect scout with that drone. Try to take another drone out with another third. I would send the roaches in, just ham. Just send them in. There's no way he's going to overpower your roaches right now. And then, while you're going to push across the map, take another third. And try not to neglect injects.
Our forces are under attack.
Injects is a huge thing about this build. Watch your lings. Oh, God. Oh. You can always let the roaches lead and just stay right behind them. It makes it really easy for you to be safe. There's no way he's ever going to kill your roaches. And if he commits to the roaches, you can fight with your lings. The best way to do this too, this is what I do. I always add all my lings to group 1, and I have roaches by themselves in group 2. I think it makes it really easy to micro. And then just keep making overlords, keep injecting. You gotta just, the biggest thing about this build is just keeping the ling flood non-stop coming on.
You're under attack. Siege up.
Watch your lings. Send lings on his lings. Perfect, now you can run the lings away. You just broke him. Now keep the flood on and you're gonna win the game.
Okay.
And now you can actually make another queen at your natural. And send the existing queen to your third. Or you actually, yeah, it's good. Yeah, good shit. Now, okay, back up your roaches. Back your roaches up. Start like stutter stepping backwards, I guess, and attack back up. Get to your lings as soon as you can. You never want to keep the roaches that are too long until all the basically if your lings are starting to die off, always back your roaches up. That way you don't lose them. And then just keep the flood going some more because you seem like you're about to break him. But wait, he's now making roaches. I would say do like what I would say right now. Honestly, the best thing you can do is actually make 1 round of drones now. Just make 1 round of drones and don't commit your army to his base. Because you have a superior base now, and now that he's going Roach Baneling, there's a high chance he's going to defend if you just keep flooding lings. So if you make 1 round of drones, like a good 12 drones, and saturate not only your main gas again, but saturate like a second gas at your natural, you could then turn the game into a situation where you could have a better economy than him, and then just keep going roaches from here, and he'll never be able to match your roach count.
Okay.
The idea now is to just get away from making Zerglings and just go pure Roach. Because he has a superior composition to Roaches. Or sorry, his Roach Bane is insanely effective against pure Zergling, is what I'm trying to say.
Alright.
You could probably even drone again a little bit since he's spining. I would say that's another indicator that he's going to be ultra eternally now, and he's probably droning as well. So you can actually saturate all 3 of your bases right now, I would say.
Should I go like into later then too?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
This is the phase when you should be saturating
That
and
mineral
teching.
gone. Don't spend it all
So
in
go
one
up to
place.
go up to 4 gases, and try to get all your mineral lines saturated
We're
with
running out
16,
of minerals back home.
and then get a 4th base too. I would say just start. You don't have to saturate it. Just start a 4th base. So transfer a little bit of your drones to from your 3rd to your 2 drones from your 3rd to your natural, and just take a second to look at all your bases and try to get them all to optimal saturation. Your main and natural are both undersaturated right now. And then start your weapon upgrade on your Evo for roaches.
Your warriors have engaged.
Alright, watch your army. Pull back. You gotta start making roaches now. As a reaction to this. Try not to fight him until he gets to your base. And the quicker you do this, the more comfortable you get with this, the faster everything will go for you, and you'll just, you'll always have more roaches at that point, the quicker you get at it. Start roach speed too. Oh, there you see him on the bottom. He does have kind of a scary amount of roaches right now, but just keep making roaches. Try not to neglect the macro. Transfer your drones from your 3rd now to your 4th. Let the 3rd die and just back up. Just try to regroup roaches while he kills the space. Watch your roaches, make sure they don't run and die.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
He doesn't have speed yet, so he can't flood you that well. You just need to be able to regroup and overpower. The main thing you gotta do is not stop injecting right now. It's like the hidden key here is to just, even though he's like attacking your face, you gotta always make sure you never neglect the inject.
Mineral field depleted.
And now this game is going to be in a weird, kind of a weird situation for you. Sometimes this happens, where your opponent did damage to you before you were ready, and now you don't know if you should fully saturate the rest of your stuff or if you should just make roaches. Luckily for you, you've saved a lot of your drones, so it's not that bad. I would say right now, if your opponent goes, if your opponent shows you that he's going for Roach Ravager, a really good counter to it would be either one of 2 things. You also go Ravager yourself, or you make a Spire.
Okay.
So it either becomes Curse of Bile Micro, or you have mutas that'll eventually come out and just kill his army that can't hit air at all. If you choose the Spire route, though, you have to go to 6 gas immediately. If you choose Ravager, I would say also probably go to 6 gas either way at this point. Ravagers are also pretty gas expensive. You have you fixed it. Saturate your gases at your 3rd, and just try to keep slamming out roaches as fast as you can. And you can start new 4th as well somewhere else, or you can even try to take the same base. Maybe he moved away, but you gotta get a 4th base going up here pretty quick. So right now, I do feel like from your situation, you're probably behind. He's pushing to focus on the fight.
Our drones are under attack.
During this fight, try to keep making roaches.
Your forces are taking damage.
Mutation complete.
Our drones are under attack. Mineral field depleted.
Yeah, that's game.
It's all good.
Oh.
So, there are, I guess. Okay, hold on. There should be like little factors that you should focus on throughout the whole game, and I feel like one of the common problems a lot of people have whenever they get to a situation where they're attacking is they focus way too hard on the army. And one of the things I think you should always focus on, trying to ingrain in just like your muscle memory is every time you're fighting, every time you're taking a fight, every time you're doing anything, if you ever move your army to if you move into him, don't do this. But if you move your army away from him at any point, always muscle memory, hit your finger on your hatchery hotkey and just make unit really fast.
Okay.
And there's actually something important here. There's some really, really important stuff I want to share with you really fast.
All right.
I want you to do this. If you want reference on visuals, you can look at my stream really quick. But if not, you can just listen to what I'm saying. Do this really quick though. Hit Control Escape on your keyboard, and then go to your control panel. Like you can type in Control, and then it'll pop up if you're on like Windows 10 or something.
Okay.
But I want you to go to your devices and printers, and I want you to right-click your keyboard and go to Properties. Or no, go to Keyboard Settings, sorry. Go to Keyboard Settings. And I want you to tell me what your repeat delay is on. It's you can see it on the stream if you need a reference again.
Fast.
Is-
Repeat rate is fast, and then repeat delay is like on the second thing.
Put it to the fastest right now. Like the way mine is, put it to mine. This makes your this will make macroing a Zerg fucking 1,000 times easier.
Let me go to your stream real quick and. Okay.
Whenever I was a tournament pro gamer, like a tournament player, whenever I would do this every single time I played a game. By the way, I would always look at the computer and go, some people they leave the settings of their keyboards on fucking like the one you just had it on a second ago, and what this means is whenever you want a macro, if I'm telling you, okay, you have roaches and lings, and your opponent has lings and banelings, and I'm telling you, every time you move your army, just for a second, I want you to hit your hatcheries and hold down, like hit S and hold down Z. It's gonna take longer for you to do this if your repeat delay is on a longer, tick basically, because what happens is, the longer that is, the longer it takes for your keys to register that you're repeating it. That's all it is. So the shortest, the fact that it's on the shortest now, it'll take like a millisecond before it goes, oh, you want to make a lot of Zerglings. Not like, it won't be like a pause where it's like, you hit Z and hold it down, and it's like, Zergling, and then we're making a lot of Zerglings now. It's like a little bit of a pause. Trust me, you'll see it in your games. It's a big difference.
Okay. So that's why whenever you like match like a one where, because I've realized that it's just like it makes that one, like if you're doing drones, it makes that one drone and then it makes every other drone like a split
super
second,
fast.
almost like
Yeah. It's because of that right there. And then I want to actually do something with you really fast. I think this is the last thing we're gonna do today, but I think it'll help you a lot. Is there a fucking? I want to. Damn it! I don't know. This is gonna be kind of hard. I want to get a micro map that I can pick my units and you can pick your units. And I want to just micro Roach with you. I want you to. I want to make you more comfortable with roaches.
No, there's.
I know, I'm looking around. It's because I think all these maps are like predetermined units.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna make a unit tester, and I want to see if you can actually just like control things in here.
Okay.
Because I've never made this with somebody else before. Well, yeah. What I'm gonna do in this one is I'm gonna I'm gonna micro. I want us to do Roach-Ling versus like Roach-Ling.
Okay.
And I want to show you, you know, the ideal micro for that situation. It's because it's like there's milliseconds when like, you know, you should be always making your lings move in a certain direction, and it makes a huge difference as to like how early you do it. Time is everything. It's a big deal. All right, I'm gonna just make units really fast randomly and see if you can actually control them. All right, try and use either one of these units. Can you actually select them and use them? You can. Okay, cool. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna reset for the units. That's perfect. This is good. It works. Okay. You have blue. I'll do red. This is it's 25 Zerglings and 10 roaches for both of us.
Okay.
Now I want you just to try and micro it as best you can right now, and we'll just have a battle, and then we'll talk about it right after.
All right.
Okay. So this is the way, in my opinion, you should micro Ling Roach. The way it seems like it's not supposed to be like this, but it is. Zerglings actually do more DPS than roaches do, so Zerglings need to die faster than roaches. But Zerglings also have less health than roaches do, so it's okay to use your roaches as a meat shield. The goal, in my opinion, of Roach-Ling versus Roach-Ling is to get your opponent to commit their lings to your roaches, and then kill his lings off your roaches with your own lings. And then as soon as you do that, you can overpower his roaches with ling and roach. Even if your roaches are fucked up and they're like the yellow and everything, it's okay, because he's not going to be able to focus fire your roaches very well. Otherwise, he's going to sacrifice. If he's focus firing roaches at that point, when you still have lings alive, your lings are just going to be like ripping his roaches apart. It's yeah. That's what that's how I would say it's the most important to micro that. It's like a bait game. You want to always bait his units on his lings onto your roaches and then kill them off of them. It's like spine crawlers, more or less. Roaches are like mobile spines, is how I see it.
Okay.
You can try it again. And the way I micro it too, I feel like the easiest way to do it is I put them in separate groups, because if you put them in the same group and you actually if I get you in a situation, okay, where I bait your lings onto my roaches, like you've committed, and the reason why you're committing is because my roaches are just poking you nonstop anyways, so like you feel like you just want to kill them more or less. If I have them in the same group and I move my lings to my roaches to then, you know, get your lings off my roaches, it's going to make all my roaches stop attacking, which is going to make me lose a lot of DPS because I'm move commanding my whole army, which is bad. That's why I put them in separate groups, because there's like crucial times when you want to move command your lings to the perfect point to like attack your opponent's lings.
Okay.
It might be awkward as hell like when you first start doing it, but as soon as you get used to it, it will be great. You'll love it.
Right.
You gotta be careful about committing too far though.
Yeah.
That was pretty good though. Alright, well, there you go! Look! You committed and you fucking killed me! Well done,
Okay.
man. Well done. That's good shit. The lings are like the hidden DPS of the whole army. You don't want to let them die. That was like me, actually. I got baited right there, but I was like, oh look, he's committing his roaches too hard. And I even said, don't commit your roaches too hard. And then you just killed me with it. It's super good, man. There you go, man. You're a natural. Look at you. But that's ideally how you should always do it. It's super effective.
Okay. It's interesting because that's the first time I've actually really spoke my lings and roaches together, so it's going to be interesting to see it behind me trying to macro as well, but oh man, now you're adding more.
Yeah. This is
I see what you're trying to do.
So like I just want to get you a good feel for how you should micro your units, because if you don't know what you're doing, it's you know, it makes it a lot harder for you to actually, if someone says, oh, do this, and you don't know how to micro it perfectly, it's going to make it hard for you to capitalize on the fact that you're making the right thing but not doing it correctly. So this one, a second ago we just talked about sorry. Okay. A second ago we just talked about how it's a good idea to make your opponent feel like, you know, you're forcing them to commit their lings to your roaches, and then you're killing the lings off the roaches. That's Roach-Ling versus Roach-Ling. But it changes in Roach-Bane versus, or when Banelings are involved, basically. Because now, if that same technique applies, if you commit the Banes to, if you commit the lings to the fight at all, you have to worry about the roaches getting pushed around and the Banelings just blowing up all the lings. Or yeah, I don't know. I'm explaining it in a weird way. It's the best way to do a situation like this is to roach positioning is key, basically. That's all it is. Roach positioning is super key. At this point, you can still kind of move around and bait a little bit, but the best thing you can do is you can shove your units into his face, and like as long as you can make the roaches, your own roaches, can zone out his Banelings. Because if he doesn't move his Banelings, you can kill them. That's the best thing you can do. And if you do that, you can then ram your lings into his fucking roaches. And it's like reverse. It's actually good then if you can zone him with Banelings. It's good to then ram your lings onto his roaches. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It's all about zoning. That's all it is. So you don't ever want to just zone like this, like straight up. Be like, oh, run the Banelings, like, you know, if you just run your Banelings right into the face right away, it's obviously, once the Banelings are gone, now you're kind of screwed because it changes everything. But it's like a dance. I know you said you don't like Banelings, but here, well, actually, we'll do this. I'm actually gonna do this. I'm gonna hit back. I'm gonna actually take your Banelings away, and I'm gonna give you more lings. This is like, we'll just pretend you're doing it all in, okay?
Alright.
I'm gonna give you 10 roaches, and I'm gonna give you like 40 lings. And I'm gonna give me 8 roaches, a little bit less than you. And I'm gonna give myself 25 lings and 5 Banelings.
Okay.
So I have a little bit less supply than you. We're gonna pretend that I was the guy who was like macroing and you know, I'm expanding and droning, and you're the one all-inning me at the moment with that build. Actually, I'm gonna reset this really quick. This is kind of unfair. I'm gonna take away my Baneling speed. Where is it? Do I have Baneling speed still? Why do I have Baneling speed? Okay, I gotta take the upgrades away. They're off. Okay, there we go. Okay, the upgrades are off. So now I gotta give us both just Zergling speed straight up, and then we're good. Zergling speed. Alright. No Baneling speed for me? Alright, good. It's kind of unfair if I have just Baneling speed. It's not realistic.
Very fast layer there, ViBE.
Yeah. Baneling speed rush, baby! So on that one, you it's obviously like you're gonna feel pressured. You're gonna feel pressured because the Banelings are in your face. I totally get it. It's Banelings. That's what Banelings can do. They're you know, they just blow everything up. But the best thing, again, you can do is it takes a little bit more of multitask microing than the previous fight does, where you bait the lings and you just got to set them up one time and you're good. Because this one, if you make a mistake, everything dies. It's no coming back from it right away. So what you should do is you should always commit. You fight with the roaches, okay? Because you have a superior roach count. That's fine. But if I commit to you with my zerglings, never, ever, never let your roaches just stand there. Don't let them stand there. It's totally different. You need to now kite. So against pure ling, you can stand there and be like, yeah, attack me. Sure, why not? I'll kill you off me. But against Baneling, you need to stutter backwards. So attack back up, and then you can always also use your lings to move forward and push my lings off your roaches as well as you're stuttering backwards. But you need to always keep distance from the Banelings, basically. And if there ever is a situation where I allow my Banelings to waddle forward, because Banelings are really slow, if I ever let them waddle forward and I you know, am getting kited, you could then, your roaches can start picking me off, basically. But if you stand there, you're gonna lose. It's just how this one works.
Okay.
So yeah, against Baneling, kite. Against Zergling, you can stand there and just bait it and kill him.
All right.
You gotta be careful with your Zerglings.
Yeah.
You actually had, I'm not gonna lie, you had that fight won for a second. But the reason why you lost that fight is because you grabbed all your Zerglings and you started running them in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna actually take the roaches out of the fight really fast. We're gonna do this really quick. I'm gonna give you actually like 3 Banes and like 15 or 20 Lings, and I'm gonna give you more Banes. 5 Banes. So right now you have 5 Banes and 20 Lings. I have 40 Lings. The way I just want to show you how ideally I want you to micro against Banelings. So it's really again. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's something you should practice. Instead of doing something like this, like I'm gonna show you what I don't like first, and then I'll show you what I do like second. Okay, just to give you 2 examples. This is what I don't think you should do, where you just have the whole army, and you back up the whole army and you run around.
Okay.
This is a bad, ineffective way to micro against Banelings, because what happens is your whole Ling army is always clumped up, and you'll never win. You'll just get overwhelmed at some point, and then everything will die.
Okay.
But if you can, if my whole army is running into a bad spot, and it's like I'm like not prepared, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, oh god, back up, oh no. But if you can green box micro your lings a little bit, like this right here.
Okay.
You still won the fight, which is really good, but it was, you want to have units still attacking, and not only are you, like, it's not even like you have to do it perfectly. Like, the better you get at it, the better it is, obviously. Mm-hmm. But if you run, like, let's just say this, okay? Let's say it's a situation where I have, your roaches are being attacked by my Zerglings and my roaches. And even though I have less than you have in total, I have less lings and also less roaches than you have, I have Banelings. If you actually decide to run your entire army away, like your entire Zergling army away because I have Banelings, you're missing out on so much DPS that you could actually be using, because, you know, the whole army is running away. Whereas instead, if you were to do something like, let's say, green box 2/3 or 3/4 of your whole Zergling ball, and just run that away, and now you're leaving like 10 Zerglings or like 6 Zerglings or whatever back to fight still, they might be spread out a little bit already, and they'll help DPS my army off of you. And even though, again, I have less than you overall, but I'm making you run a big chunk of your units around, it's going to force me in a situation now where I either have to blow up my Banelings on your little bits of units that are fighting still, or I'm going to run my Banelings around and let you once again have a situation where you're killing my Lings off of your own roaches. because you're now leaving some of your lings back to DPS my shit off of you. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
It's again, that's a lot harder. I'm not gonna say it's not easy, but it's required. We'll do it one more time of this right here, and I'll try to show you more of what I mean again, and then we'll do the roach thing one more time again. Yeah, I don't know, you get what I mean. It's just leaving a little bit here and there, and then you're gonna get way better trades than if you just run everything around the whole time.
Okay.
And then we'll do one more of this Roach-Ling Bane one, and then we'll I think we'll be good, man. Then we'll ask me any questions and all that good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna give you 10 roaches and 20 lings, and for me, let's say I'm the guy with going Banelings again. I'm gonna have 8 roaches, like 13 lings, and that's 5 banes, so yeah, whatever. So I have 5 supply less than you right now in this fight, but the banelings are here again. So again, just remember, again, the goal is commit the roaches, that's fine, but like kite as much as you can. Try not to get just fully surrounded right away. But as soon as your roaches are stuck and they're just now they're there, if that happens, instead of kiting and just peeling me apart by kiting, now you go to plan B, and now you're committed. So now it becomes a situation where you split your lings as much as you can. So that just know that is plan B. That's not plan A. Plan A, like the main plan you should do, is kite first. Push me back, kite, and then if that fails because I surround you, plan B, split your lings up, not your roaches. Split your lings, and let your roaches and whatever lings you split off DPS my army down.
Okay.
This is good. You're already doing really well so far. It's hard. It's getting to that situation again where it's like right now, if those lings could have lived a little longer, you would have won that fight again. You had enough army. If my banelings could have been picked off to kill me. We'll try again.
Okay.
We'll try one more with this, and then I just want to reverse it one time, and I'll be the guy with the Roach-Ling. You gotta be careful though, not to go too far away from your lings against this.
Yeah.
That was good. Other than the very beginning of that one, where you kind of committed your roaches too far away, that was good. You did it a lot better. All right, this time I'm gonna clear it one more time, and I'm gonna switch our sides here.
Okay.
I gave
13 lings and 5 banelings.
Okay. There we go. There we go. I died. It's not easy. It is harder.
Well, I could defend against it, at least.
Yeah. But it all just comes down to like what's it called? You just have to eliminate the banes, and then you're good to go from there. Then you can just go back to the flood, surround, whatever, bait whole technique. That is a lot easier than banes. What's up?
Yeah. So would targeting with roaches down the banelings, if you have superior roaches, would that even be possible?
You can if you can micro that, yeah. But
okay,
as long as if you're confident that you can do it quick, that's fine. But so it would be like this. Okay, this is a perfect way to explain good and bad. It only takes 2 roaches to kill a Baneling. If I were to commit all 10 roaches every time to focus fire each Baneling, that's bad. Because I'm actually just going to waste so much time with my roaches just running around taking free damage trying to kill Banes, that even if I do actually kill all the Banes, I'm going to lose my whole army to your army anyways. But if I can actually grab a couple roaches here and a couple roaches there and be like, focus the Baneling, and like get it done super quick, and only utilize like a couple roaches, not waste a lot of time basically, then that's amazing. That's super good. So if you're confident you can do that, then do it. But if you're going to use your whole army to do it, don't do it. Just go for the more like kiting aspect of it instead.
Okay.
All right, we'll try this again really quick. We'll do it one more time. And I know you said you don't like Banes that much, but I'm just trying to give you the other side. To be honest, let's just do this and make it super easy. It's actually really hard to do the kiting part. Just split your units up like this and fight it and just absorb it, because I'm actually winning doing this right now. It's effective. Don't do the kiting thing. The kiting thing, I guess, really thinking about it, it really only applies when you actually have roach speed. And if we're talking about doing the build where you do an all-in, you're not gonna have roach speed, because that's a hatchery tech all-in. So it's a lot harder to manage kiting and splitting your lings all at the same time when roaches are so slow. Fuck, I'm sorry. Oh my god. Yeah, just what I was saying was really thinking about it. You know, it's the kiting thing. That is what I do all the time. But when I think about it, it's because I have roach speed. It's a roach speed type micro technique, so it changes when you get roach speed. You do want to kite against an army like Roach-Ling Bane. But early on, when you do not have roach speed, kiting is actually kind of counter micro. It kind of fucks you up a bit because your roaches are so slow. So it's a lot harder to you know, maximize that. It's really like kind of like a judgment call, I feel like a lot of times, but just to make it really simple, you should always kite your opponent's lings and banes and whatever else they have if they're combined with roaches, if you have roach speed. But if you're going for this kind of an all-in really early game, where you're doing like a really fast push off low supply, don't kite. Just split and then minimize damage you take and try to overpower, and just flood from there. And I'll have you do that one more time. We'll reverse rolls again after one more here, and then yeah, you can try the minimizing damage you take and shit like that. Oops. And all my shit just blew up. Alright, we'll reverse rolls here.
Okay. Well, at least we learned that you could use unit tester on...
I give you extra 5 links. I'll just give myself like 3 more links.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, good. It's a lot closer than it was before with when you ran your lings around.
Okay.
Alright, one more for good measure. This is coaching, man. Just grinding it in.
Oh yeah.
Oh. One more. I'll give you a second to get ready. I feel like I kind of cheap shotted you there.
Alright, there we go. I have my wings high keyed, the other half weren't, so.
Yeah. We'll reset it one more time. A way you can also make it easier for yourself, try this technique right here. Try splitting, like hotkey right now, lings and roaches in different hotkeys. Move your roaches in front a little bit, but then split your do a pre-split of your lings. Don't just have them all in one ball right away. Put some of them above and some of them below the roaches right now. And it'll make, and then now when you actually attack enemy, it'll make it easier to accurately grab lings before the fight starts. And you can always do this because you'll have Overlord scouting ahead and everything like that. Or, you know, if you're the one attacking, you can, instead of having all your lings in one ball, spread them before the fight starts just a little bit, so that you can easily spread them even further once the fight's already going on.
Okay.
It's like a simpler concept to when like Terrans are like going Marines against like Infestors, or like even Banelings. They should always be pre-spreading because it's much easier to spread if you've already done a pre-spread than it is to spread from a massive clump right away. Because then it's when it's like you have to accurately click so fast, and it's like if you mess up at all, everything dies.
I think my problem is I take like half my roaches too because I do, you know,
I
super
understand.
quick.
Yeah, that's why it just takes practice. You just gotta get used to it. But that is what ZVZ is. It's all map control and micro. If you use Banelings, like it doesn't really matter even if you use Banelings or not. It's micro, but it's different types of micro. Because if you go Ling Bane versus Ling Bane, it's like, oh god, I gotta pick his Banelings off and not lose my lings and blow his lings up. But then if it's roaches, it's a little bit more simple micro, where it's like, you know, it's more like you control the area, but then you have to worry about a situation where now you have to also worry about him just overwhelming you with mass lings and having Banelings zone you out and shit like that. So it is definitely micro based. It takes a lot of practice.
Okay.
Last one. Last one for the road. Also, actually, I want to show you something. I'm gonna reset this really quick.
Okay.
Or hold on, actually, let's see if you win. No. Okay, this is something important. Check this out. Okay, I want you to bring your roaches up only. Now, I want you to do what I'm gonna do in a second here. Watch. So the idea is, I'm going to move. I'm gonna right click behind my roaches like this, and then stop, like really quickly after. So it's like right click stop. And what's gonna happen is whenever my Banelings start doing shit like this, every time that this happens every fight, where my Banelings start going like this, beyond my roaches, as soon as my Banelings cross my roaches, I want you to right click back and then stop immediately.
Okay.
Because what'll happen is, what's happening is, your roaches are actually getting into a concave battle with my roaches, and they're ignoring the Banelings, which is making your life a lot harder when I'm zoning your Zerglings out. But if you right click back once and stop, it's going to redirect your roach attacks to the nearest target, which is going to now be the Banelings. Just on like automatic attack commands. Like, you're not going to have to focus them. You can just literally be like, roaches, stop fighting the roaches for a second. Fight the unit that's closer to us, which is the Banelings. So check it out. Watch. I'm going to fight you with my roaches really fast, and right as I move my Banelings forward, you'll see what I mean. Just do what I just said. You'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Because the way it was happening before, we'll check it out. One more. Just this time, don't do it. Do what you were doing before, where you just kind of ignore the roaches. This is what's happening usually when you're not doing that.
Okay. I see now.
Yeah, it'll make it much easier for you. So try that this time, and then we'll see how it goes. It does make it a little more funky as well with the lings being there, but you still won either way.
Okay.
It changes a lot of it.
Alrighty. Yeah, that does actually. Actually.
One more. Listen to the last one for the real for real. I just want you to feel really comfortable with it.
Okay.
All right. Let's do it.
Wrong hotkey.
But yeah, you get the idea though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I got the idea.
yeah, little micro techniques like that are what makes or breaks an all-in. Because if you're going to be really aggressive and your units are going to underperform, or if they're going to be really efficient, it totally changes everything.
Yeah. Alrighty.
All right, man. I hope that was a good coaching lesson. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, I did.
And
It was actually very insightful. There was
Yeah.
a lot of micro techniques and I didn't realize that was there, so
there you
it's
go,
gonna
man.
be.
I expect GM tomorrow.
I don't know if I want to get there that quickly, but
Yeah, that's all good.
we're so.
You have any other questions or anything about what we just talked about? Anything that's on your mind?
I do not actually. I'm trying to think if I have anything on my mind right now. Nothing comes to mind right away, so.
All right, man. Well, yeah, just I'll upload this coaching lesson as well to my YouTube in probably a day or two. So you can always, if you ever want to go back for reference, you can always just go there and check it out. It'll just, the title of it will be like your name, KiloKilo, coaching lesson with ViBE, something like that.
Okay.
So you can always use it. It's like, you know, if you ever want to go back and use it as a reference again, to be like, oh, what was he saying again about this? I want to watch it again. And watch it on your own time, and you know, you can skip around and do things like that.
Okay.
And then, yeah, man.
Alrighty. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for buying a coaching lesson. Sorry I was late, dude.
Oh, no,
apologize,
no
but
problem.
We got a nice hefty 2-hour lesson in here.
Yeah, we did. So I even got more than the extra 30 minutes. So
I felt bad for not being there, but dude, have a great rest of your night. Thank you for buying a coaching lesson, and I wish you the best of luck in your games, man.
thanks. You too.
All right, I'll see you later, dude.
See you later.
All right.